stars are on ABC tonight. Like Donovan Mitchell had 13 40-point games this year, most ever in a Cavs uniform. Does he have big numbers in store for tonight at Madison Square Garden against Julius Randle and the Knicks? Randle's averaged over 20 points and 9 boards the first 2 games of this dead-even series. We got a huge Game 3, and we're counting it down right now.
Each game, it goes up a notch. You got to be ready for that.
It stops. 3. DG.
We're built for it. This team is ready for a challenge.
More than a game, don't play with my name. I'm bringing my gang.
It's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. Make the moment about what we do.
You hear the crowd, they screaming my name. I got the stadium going insane. Done with the talking, it ain't no discussion. Started out finished, put me in the game.
You know what to expect. It's the Garden, bro.
We got to find a way to take one back in New York. It's going to be hostile. It's going to be crazy. Have to be locked in as a group. See what the chips fall.
I love how we fight. We go out there, we stick together, we win together.
Hey, coach, put me in the game.
Welcome to NBA Countdown, presented by Chime.
Welcome to the Seaport. We are brought to you by Grey Goose, and we are about 6 subway stops away from Madison Square Garden, where tonight the Knicks play what might be the biggest game they've played at home in a decade.
Game 3, up 2-1 in this series, getting set for Game 4 on Sunday. That is what will happen.
Game 4 will be here on ABC as well. We will see you at halftime. This should be a very interesting night in front of a raucous crowd at the Garden. So let's send it up there right now. Mike Breen, take it away.
All right, Mike, thank you, and welcome to a beautiful Friday evening in New York City, where NBA playoff basketball has returned. These Knicks, they've won over their loyal fan base, best record in 10 years. But here in the opening round, they find themselves in a difficult battle with a tough and talented Cavaliers team that hammered the Knicks in Game 2 as they split the first 2 in Cleveland. Now a hungry Garden crowd will greet them here in Game 3. You see the Eastern Conference standings. Philadelphia's up 3-0. Boston right now playing. They're up 2-0 on Atlanta. Milwaukee and Miami will resume tomorrow. They're even at 1 game apiece. And good evening, everyone. Along with Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy, Mike Breen on hand. Lisa Salters with us as well. Game 1 was a thrilling victory for the Knicks on the road. Meanwhile, Game 2, a dominant win for the Cavaliers. So what will we see in Game 3? Mark, for the Knicks, they got the home court taken away from Cleveland with that great win. But they were badly outplayed in Game 2. How do they bounce back?
You bounce back in the playoffs when your best players play their best basketball. That points the finger directly at Julius Randle. He's got to be much better. You look at his numbers as a New York Knick, regular season versus postseason, he's got to be better. Historically, that's when they elevate their game. And what jumps out most on this graphic is through 2 games in this series, 11 turnovers, 5 assists. He's got to take care of the basketball and put his imprint on the game.
And he's not alone. Jalen Brunson also has to play better. He was outstanding in Game 1 in the second half. But in Game 2, he was stymied with blitzes of the pick and roll. He's got to get his points, but he's also got to find ways.
Garland's sensational, but so is Karis LeVert in Game 2. He's the X factor. It's a cliche, but boy, was it true. 24 points. That was more than anybody on the Knicks roster. Well, the first 2 games featured some good old-fashioned Eastern Conference playoff basketball. Rough, physical defense, clutching, grabbing, hard fouls. What's in store for Game 3? We'll find out coming up as this presentation of the NBA playoffs continues after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Through your city like I'm Sean Puffy Combs. Keys to the Billy, tell them God put me on. Tell me if I'm tripping and I got that Gucci on.
The Google Pixel NBA playoffs on ABC are presented by Starry, a crisp burst of lemon lime flavor. And Google Pixel, the official fan phone of the NBA.
City like I'm Jay-Z, God. No, this ain't no pink, this is Jay-Z.
Cavaliers win. This series is tied at 1 game apiece.
Everybody fighting for it. Everybody wants the power.
The power is the belief. The power is the trust.
I love how we fight.
We understand what it takes, and we got guys that will respond.
This is our glory.
When you're in those situations, you know, you can either crumble or you can band together and come out of it on top.
Darius Garland putting on a show. Mitchell getting it done on both ends.
Nobody in New York likes us right now, so it's all about us.
This is the place, and whatever it takes.
Another hit for Brunson. He has taken over this game.
Home court advantage is obviously huge, and it doesn't guarantee 2 wins.
We got to go take at least one in New York. It's going to be war.
One by one, get it done.
There's more physicality. There's more intensity that can be had. There's just another effort to be made.
New York City, as we welcome you to the NBA playoffs presented by Google Pixel. It's the first round presented by Starry. Boy, what a gorgeous night in Lower Manhattan on this Friday night as we get set for Game 3 of this opening round best-of-7 Eastern Conference playoff series, all tied up at 1 game apiece after the 2 teams split the first 2 games. Meanwhile, this crowd fired about this team. As mentioned at the top, one of their best records in a long time, 10 years. They're the 5th seed, Cavaliers the 4th seed. As we look at tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Capital One. In a change, Harris LeVert, who came off the bench the first 2 games, he will start for Isaac Okoro. LeVert was sensational in Game 2. The rest remains the same for J.B. Bickerstaff. Meanwhile, for Tom Thibodeau and his Knicks, the usual starting 5 with Brunson, Grimes, Barrett, Randall, and Robinson. A Knicks team that was one of the best offensive teams in the NBA during the regular season, but they have struggled in the first couple of games offensively, shooting the basketball. Fella Harrington saying hi to his old coach. All the stories he must have. Houston, another guy that you tormented.
He's got more.
A lot of Knicks fans here. And John Starks, one of your all-time favorites, Jeff.
Yeah. Oh, Spree in the house.
They're all here tonight. Of course, the crowd is so fired up. And there's the Hall of Famer, Clyde Frazier. In fact, the very first home playoff game in this building, Clyde Frazier was a rookie. That was 55 years ago. He had 24 points. Bernard King came after Clyde. And Bernard King also a Hall of Famer. So the crowd is ready. Let's see if the Knicks and the Cavs are ready in what is just an unbelievable atmosphere. This building is bonkers, as they said on the pregame show.
Do me a favor, if anybody